Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and of course, sponsored by the amazing Morgan Trinkets. We'll be definitely talking about them a little bit later, but man, it doesn't get much better than this, man. It's Tuesday night. We're just a couple days removed from a 38-6 drubbing of the Atlanta Falcons, wearing our favorite uniform of one Albert Mile High Dutchie. Albert, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to a Victory Tuesday, I guess it would be, man.
Absolutely. It was Tuesday, Victory Tuesday. Let's call it that way. Because right now the Denver Bronco Rounders is up and the Atlanta Falcons got a little bit of a beating. And I think we have our QB for the future. I truly believe that. And who knows? He might be running for Rookie of the Year.
A lot of talk about this now. A lot of talk about this. You know, I talked about it at the very beginning of the season, Albert. You don't know what you have in a rookie quarterback. You really don't. It's a 50-50 chance. You look at the numbers throughout the years, taking a quarterback in the first round, you never know what you're going to get. And I'll tell you what, I think we know what we got. Yeah, I think we know what we got, and it's not one of those labeled the busts, a bust or anything like that for the Denver Broncos, man. Bo Nix is out there. He's doing it. He's improving each week. He's looking better each week. He's looking more confident each week. He's looking more poised each week. He's putting up better numbers each week. We're talking about a 4-touchdown performance, 307 yards, 85% completion percentage. I mean, for a rookie quarterback, Albert, you're absolutely right. I think we have our guy. I think we have a guy that's in contention for Rookie of the Year. And it feels good to be a Denver Bronco rocking our orange and blue all week long. It feels really good saying hello to Scott, saying hello, all Broncos fans. And he's just reminding that those dirty birds went home wounded. They went home so wounded they never got to flap their wings in the end zone, Scott. Only 2 field goals. Typically, you get to see that dirty bird move once a touchdown is scored. Dirty birds never took flight, man. They went home wounded. They might have had to walk home. I don't know if their wings really even worked after that drubbing that we just gave them. Mr. Michael Ronquillo coming in here. I'm going to be switching all around, making sure that I give proper accounting to everybody. But Michael's coming in here and saying, good evening, Keith and Albert, and go Bo Broncos. Yeah, I just should mention, this could be a 4-horseman show some nights, Albert. Sometimes we have the Judge Jody Moncrief, and usually we have the Rocket Man, Trevor Salzman, but it's just going to be me and you. We're going to rock it out here, man. We're going to be talking about a Denver Broncos win. What a better night to be talking just me and you, buddy.
Absolutely, and what an evening to talk about it. Yeah, it was an excellent game. I wasn't able to see it during the game itself. I saw it yesterday, and I watched it again today, and it is unbelievable. And a lot of it has to do with the O-line too. I think that O-line is coming together. They have not allowed Bo Nix to be under such big pressure that he can make the plays. And I watched one of my favorite O-linemen ever, since I've been watching the football. Quinn Minus, what he is doing there, and at certain things, it is just a miracle, unbelievable.
Yeah, the team's coming together. It's funny that you mentioned that. I think, if anything, especially against this defensive front that the Atlanta Falcons really don't give anybody, they did okay. The Broncos did what they were expected. There could have been better holes at times. There could have been a little bit better protection at times, in my opinion. But they did their job. They did what was needed to go out there. I'll be honest, it's going to be fine. It's going to be tough to find places to be hypercritical of the Denver Broncos after a 38-6 win. But there are little points that you can usually point out here or there. Again, Luke Wattenberg maybe not with his best game. Ben Powers, missed a block or two. But again, these are things that are going to happen, Albert, and it didn't affect our score. We're a 38-6 victor in this game, so I don't want to get down on one or two missed blocks or anything like that. Michael Ronquillo, by the way, was dropping 100 stars as he came roaring in here. First thing, getting us started this evening and making our Tuesday just even that much better. And Phil just went right back at it. And he's dropping stars as well, saying, "Good evening, Keith Dutchy." And I'm thinking Nick Bonito gets 12 plus sacks this season. Albert, Nick Bonito has been a man on fire. He's been so dang good and been, had the compliment of one Jonathan Cooper that Baron Browning was no longer a necessity. He was shipped off to the Atlanta Falcons, and he hasn't slowed down, putting up 2 more sacks again this Sunday. What do you think about Nick Bonito and what he's been able to do, and where do you think he can tap out at? Do you think he gets 12 plus like Phil was talking about here?
Yeah, there's absolutely a possibility. We still have, well, about 6 games to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely a possibility. And he is already at 9 or 10. So, yeah, 12 should be easy for him. And especially next week, we're going to the Raiders. So it should be not slim pickings, should be easy pickings for them. But Jonah Ellis, too. He had one. And who would have thought of that rookie? Yeah, our D line is magnificent. They put their running back to a stop, and he is one of the top 3 running backs that we face from the Atlanta Falcons. So yeah, the defense is stellar. They had 1 weak performance against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ravens is also the number 1 offense in the league at the moment. So no shame there really. But yeah, this is a playoff worthy team, and we are not pretenders. I truly believe we are contenders.
Yeah, I think Albert a couple of weeks ago when I put that in the agenda, he got a little upset at me, even suggesting that the idea that the Broncos might be pretenders. He's all in on them being contenders. They look like contenders on defense, man. You're absolutely right. Bijan Robinson, one of the most dynamic running backs out there in the league right now. 12 carries for 35 yards, held him to a 2.9 yard average. And I'll be the first one to admit, man, I was worried about Kirk Cousins and his ability to rocket the ball down the field. And he's not short on targets, whether you're talking about Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, it just keeps going. Ray McLeod, Bijan Robinson out there, even out of the backfield. Heck, he probably had a better day out of the backfield catching the ball than he did running the ball. So again, just a multitude of weapons that are available to the Atlanta Falcons, but this Denver Broncos defense did an absolutely phenomenal job. I didn't think it would be all about getting pressure on Kirk Cousins. I don't think it was. I think we got great pressure on him when needed, but the back end and what we were able to do in order to make sure that these guys were covered, that they weren't getting open, they weren't running all over the place. We played man, we played zone and man on the same plays at multiple times. We did a fantastic job in order to try to keep this Atlanta Falcons defense or offense in check. And I think it really started up front with Stymie and Bijan Robinson, something that the Denver Broncos haven't been good, really going up against that running back. What do you think about how we went up against this running game, man? And I want to hit the comments again because we got a lot of people coming in here and talking, brother.
Yeah, the defense was excellent. Like I said, they stopped the run. They stopped most of the throw game, and they were smart with it. Normally, if the first year when we saw Nick Bonito, the only thing that he had in mind was the quarterback. That was the only thing in mind. This we saw one game. Oh, there's going to be a complete different play, and he run with one of the offensive play, and guess what? The play was a bust. So they are all smarter and smarter on the defense, and we can see that. I think this defense has not reached the ceiling yet.
Hasn't seen the potential. Hasn't seen the full potential yet. I'll be honest. Like I said, what they did, amazing. Just to give you some stats, 10 total first downs for the Atlanta Falcons. Total of 4 third down conversions, buddy. 4 third down conversions. Now, that's how you stymie on offense. That's how you end up with a 38-6 victory. That's how you keep your defense fresh and ready to go each time they take the field, and your offense in rhythm, in time. They're, before you know it, they're right back out there. Even if they had a bad series and you had to punt the ball away, it's okay. Right back out there. You're not having these long droughts and waiting 10, 15 minutes before you end up taking the field with all the timeouts and TV timeouts and everything else and a long drive by the opposing team. We didn't see that, man. It was all played in. And, before we jump into I'm going to jump into these comments, and then I got to jump into a few more thoughts. I know they just keep coming, buddy. They keep coming with all these comments and everything else. Scott's coming in here and just to remind us they had minimal penalties, 0 turnovers, which made the offense a winning combination. Bo Nix is out there taking care of the ball. This is something you typically don't see at this level from, even some top 10 quarterbacks, let alone rookie quarterbacks. This guy is not turning the ball over. He's not throwing up interceptions. You wipe away like the first couple of weeks when he was just getting his feet wet in the season, and oh my goodness, this guy looks absolutely phenomenal at that point, man. He just does not turn over. The penalties were great, man. The penalties, not getting the penalties were great. Sometimes they were drive killers, and we even overcame one penalty that could have been a drive killer and continued on and put points on the board. It was a great game in that regard. My good friend Jeremy saying, "Sup, fellas, go Broncos." Good friend of yours, Albert. Michelle Knoppers coming in and say, "Evening, gents. Did we orange crush the Falcons or what?" Love that, man. I need to get some orange crush cans. I'm going to have to start sipping on those when we're on our show. Since week 4, Nick Bonito has had 8 sacks. Just again talking about what this defense is doing and how Nick Bonito has been such a key piece and portion of what they've been able to do. Phil's asking a question. Douglas Wall's asking a question. I'll get to Phil's shorter one first. He just says, VJ is doing so well this season. Will we lose him next year? Might put that one back up because it's easier to see. Douglas says, good evening, fellas. There has been talk about VJ being offered a head coaching job after this season. I think Sean Payton and the ownership need to make an offer to VJ to stay until Super Bowl. What says you? Until we reach the Super Bowl, VJ should be our defensive coordinator, says Douglas. Phil's just wondering, will we lose him this year? What are your thoughts around VJ? And I think I see Pearl saying that she wasn't necessarily a VJ fan, but she's changed her mind a little bit as well. I think a lot of Broncos fans were right there with Pearl. What are your thoughts, though, on VJ, where he's headed this season? Is he gone? Do we need to make him that offer? What are your thoughts, Albert?
The only way that we would lose him if he would get a head coaching position. I think otherwise they will keep him. And I don't think Fiji is ready for a coaching position because then he has to focus on two areas and more than just being a defensive coach. And I don't think he is capable of doing that. We have seen it earlier on with the Broncos. It didn't go so well for him. If he's just a defensive coach and stay where he is, one of the biggest examples is Wade Phillips. Wade
Yeah.
Phillips has done it, and he went back to defensive coach, and that was the niche where he needs to be. And I think that's exactly where Fiji should stay, becoming the defensive coach. And even if it is your lifetime career, he will make really good money doing so.
Mm. Yeah. I'm right there with you, Albert. I'm right there with you. If I'm Vance Joseph, when he had the Denver Broncos, not that great of a team. When he was with the Arizona Cardinals, not that great of a team. You know, every stop that he had, he's been kind of like in an okay position, but not a great position with a team that's headed in the trajectory that this Denver Broncos team is. He's got the opportunity to be. I like what Douglas was saying. Get him under contract until he wins a Super Bowl. Well, that's where this team is headed. You don't say that if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, get this guy under contract until we win a Super Bowl. Well, good luck with that. That team doesn't look like they're anywhere close to sniffing a Super Bowl. You know what I mean at this point. So Carolina Panthers or the New York Giants. Sorry, Kenny. Um, but you're on one of those teams. Who wants to sign up for that long term? With this team, it's looking like we're right there. We're about ready to turn the corner, and Vance Joseph's a big part of it. Jeremy's saying that this defense is definitely contenders. The offense needs more weapons, but it still looks good, says Jeremy. So, again, this is the comment I had. I admit I'm not a fan of VJ, but am not a big fan of VJ, but wow, am I changing my mind after that last game? And I like that one. Michael Ronquillo coming in here saying, Bo Nix tied former rookie quarterback Marlon Briscoe with 14 passing touchdowns. He can break the streak or break that record with 15 passes against the Raiders. The record was held for 56 years. So that's pretty cool as well, buddy. I appreciate you coming in here. Always, Michael's been dropping some knowledge as of lately, man. He's all right up there with Nopper's knowledge. Scott saying VJ is a good coordinator, but I don't like him as a head coach. So he hopes he stays in his current position. So, good friend Dan's coming in here over on Facebook saying, good evening, gentlemen. Go Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos for life. Denver Bronco for I'm not sure what C is. I'm sorry, buddy. Pink Crush is the best. Sorry, Broncos. Now we're getting into soda flavors. So 6-5. Dan's excited. Oh yeah. Just want to make sure there's nothing else. Hopefully VJ doesn't want to be a head coach again. And a lot of talk about the Raiders. I don't want to get there quite yet, though, man. I want to talk just a little bit more about this last game. We'll be really breaking down that Raiders game come Friday. We have that Friday podcast where we do our pregame show. We'll talk a little bit of Raiders, I'm sure. But this Denver Broncos defense, how do you equate what we saw in Baltimore versus what we saw versus the Atlanta Falcons? How do you put that on the same team where you go from giving up 41 points to holding a team to 6? And I know this, we're talking about two different teams, and where their struggles are going to be different, but that's a wild swing, man. What are your thoughts on that, bud? And where do we fall? Are we a 6-point team, or are we a 41-point team, or are we someplace in the middle?
I think we are somewhere in the middle. This was a really good game. But with the weapons Bo Nix has, if you score 28 points every game, you're doing really well. If don't forget the Baltimore Ravens. How many weapons do they have? Where can Lamar Jackson throw the ball to or play the ball? Uh, the running back Henry, that guy is a beast. So with all the weapons that they have, yeah, they're the number one offense. And if we struggle a little bit with as a defense against them, it is okay. And a lot of teams saw what they shouldn't do against the Ravens because of the Broncos game, so they were better adjusted to it. And I think that's what it is. This defense can be the number 1, 2 defense in the league. They just have to follow through on what really works well and step away from what doesn't work. And the last 2 games we have seen that. The Chiefs, what did they score? Meager 16 points.
Yeah.
Now we have the Atlanta Falcons coming. That offense has a lot of weapons.
I agree.
So that defense that we have is a top 3 defense. Sometimes, yeah, we get outsmarted, outplayed, and that's what happened with the Ravens. Number 1 offense and not smart enough with the plays.
Very good. Phil's coming in here talking a couple of games ago and dropping stars doing it. Got to give him his love on this one. He says Ravens were that one game that VJ did not coach well. He got away from man coverage too much, in his opinion. And Phil, great eye. I thought the exact same thing. I thought we played way too much zone. We allowed Lamar Jackson and his weapons to work within that, and gave him too much time. I mean, if you're gonna play zone behind, I think you got to be blitzing a ton when it comes to a Lamar Jackson type of game. Even if you do have the ability of Derrick Henry getting past that blitz and eating you up, you got to pick your poison. It seemed like we didn't pick our poison. Tried to do everything pretty well, and just kind of backfired on us. Got out of our game plan. So Phil, like I said, right, great, fantastic eye. Pearl's just pointing out we are in the middle, but improving by the week. I feel with young players learning, and there's something to be said about that. I want to tag on that, and then I'm going to get over to Kenny Kirkpatrick. If I was, I know it'd be really easy, Albert, to sit out here and say, "Hey, man, hats off to Bo Nix and what he did and his performance." I mean, it's a 300-yard game. It's 4 touchdowns. Looked fantastic. But it wasn't that long ago, Albert. We were on here and we were super critical about these receivers, the balls that were heading their direction, and the opportunities that were lost and them not securing that ball and coming in with it. This game, and even I saw the same play twice that were big plays against that we've seen in the past from Cortland Sutton. Maybe have a little bit of alligator arms, right over the middle, short post type of pattern. He's going over the middle and he's getting that ball and taking the hit this last game. They went out there, they secured the ball, they didn't turn the ball over, but they caught the ball and they were doing a fantastic job. I want to just give a big hats off to this wide receiving core and what they have done in order to make sure that Bo Nix has all the ability. As Peyton said, paint the picture, and the receivers got to paint the picture for the quarterback, and the coaches have got to paint the picture for the quarterback. It's looking beautiful out there. I'm liking what we're painting, buddy. But I just wanted to give a little hats off on the offensive side to the wide receivers. Anybody else? I know that I just kind of talked about Bo Nix and the wide receivers, but on the offensive side, anybody else that you want to give your flowers to, a little hats off to?
Yeah, the tight ends need some kudos. Offensive line definitely needs the kudos.
That's right.
They literally were carrying the players over the into the end zone. You saw that with Pookie.
Amazing. That's fantastic.
If you looked really close, Pookie was literally dangling. So that was cool to see. And it finally starts to gel. And I think even although we lost against the Chiefs last week, I think for all of them mentally, that was not a loss. They won it in their hearts. They won it in their head.
Mm,
That blocked field goal, yeah, it was a bummer, but they won that game mentally, and I think that's what prepared them really well for this game. Yeah, it was a tough loss because you missed a field goal, but mentally, I think they all had it in them. They won that game, and I think that's what brought the victory here, and that is
yeah.
what we saw.
Hey, Nate Atkins got us kicked off. Talk about giving a little bit of love to those tight ends as well, man. He kicked us off with the first touchdown. We saw 3 tight end sets, all quite a bit this last week. Yeah, got to give a little bit of love to those tight ends and what they've been able to do and pull together, especially figuring that, let's face it, I think this coaching staff, the team, the players, Broncos fans thought that Greg Dulcich would be a bigger part of this, and now they've had to rearrange that and make something new. Speaking of which, last thing I'll say on the offensive side, rearranging, making something new. Way to go for Sean Payton. One of the things that he said a couple of things when he first took over this Denver Broncos team. One that makes really good sense right now, one that I'm still waiting for, but one that makes really good sense right now. He always said, don't tell me, he goes, as I bring my coaches in, the theme is don't tell me what they can't do. Tell me what they can do. Don't tell me these players can't do this and they can't do that. Tell me what they can do. I think we figured out what Marvin Mims can do. And I think all of a sudden we've gotten a spark with him being in the backfield and his operation and the whole 9 yards. Hats off to the coaching staff, Sean Payton, wide receivers coach, whoever it happened to be that came together and started reinventing what we're seeing from one Marvin Mims, man. I just want to hit the comments a little bit more, Albert. Got to say hello to Rodney Garcia coming in over on YouTube saying, good evening, guys, and go Broncos. Living it up with all that orange and blue over there. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it a ton. Like I said, I wanted to get back to our good friend Kenny Kirkpatrick as well, but Karen's coming in here and saying, good evening, all, and go Broncos. Just still excited about a win. Karen, thank you so much for coming over here on YouTube. We appreciate it, and reminding me and you to hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate that so much, and appreciate all the love and support you've been showing us as well, Karen. Kenny came in here and he says he's doing some double duty. He's over there on the K&K Sports Show. If you don't know, and you're in the New York, New Jersey area, and you're into high school sports, you're missing out on the K&K Sports Show because he's doing double duty with the high school sports show right now. But he does have a question for both you and me, Dutchie. Dutchie, if the season ended today, Bo Nix, quarterback for the Denver Broncos, Jaden Daniels, quarterback for the Washington Commanders, who wins Rookie of the Year?
For me, it is an easy decision. It is Bo Nix. Look at the weapons that Jaden Daniels has, and what Cortland Sutton. In most of the teams, he would be the number 2 receiver. In most of the teams, he is the number 1. Yeah, it is so much easier to have if you have great weapons. That makes it much easier. How would Jackson do with receivers what he has here? How would he do? No, Jackson has some of the best receivers. Jaden Daniels has a really good offensive team. So yeah, it is for me. It's easy. It is Bo Nix.
Not as easy for me, but I will. I love the way that Kenny phrased this. Jaden Daniels, I think, is electric. I mean, I hate to even use comparisons typically, but maybe the closest thing I've seen to a Michael Vick in I don't know how many years. What he did to start off the season was phenomenal, but he's cooled off. And he's cooled off right about the time that Bo Nix continues to stack successful looking, quality looking starts, here in the NFL, getting it's going to be back-to-back offensive rookie of the week It's got to be with the performance that he just had this last week, and he had it the week before. So, given the timing of the question, if we were to end it right now, it's Bo Nix. It's Bo Nix because of, again, the progression of the charts, I guess you could say. One's in a downward progression, one's in an upwards progression. That can all change. Jaden Daniels goes out there and he starts throwing up 400 yards and 404 touchdowns and running for another 100 like he's capable of, and there could be an absolute run for this. But I'll say right now, Bo Nix has got to be in the driver's seat as far as I'm concerned, and he's looking really good doing it. Rodney over there on YouTube, look, he's live on this tight ends. He's thinking they're looking good doing it because he said Troutman, Kroll, Atkins, even Burton coming in there, feeling the love, and I'm happy to see them getting the ball. Mims is Sean Payton Joker, and I've heard that a little bit. Got to give some love to our good friend Patrick Wiltsey. Aloha, boys, and this is a wonderful cup of Lion coffee. Lion coffee. If you're a coffee lover, you're missing out. Head on over to lioncoffee.com. I'm telling you guys, you're missing out. I'm just a coffee lover telling you where it's at. But Patrick Wiltsey, hope you're doing well, my friend. I always talk about the coffee, but appreciate you as a Broncos fan jumping in here and being a part of what we do every single show. Karen's disagreeing and saying that Cortland is a number one. Don't you ever forget about that. Bo Nix for Offensive Rookie of the Year, says Dan. And Bo Nix has been playing better lately and is the better currently than Daniels. And that's Karen's thoughts as well as mine. Rodney says if he'd only beaten the Chiefs with Bo leading the way, that would have been under his resume. Definitely would have had Bo as the front runner. Yeah. I think that's all good points. As I don't see any way that you can't have him right there up there in the running. And if you added in a Kansas City Chiefs first loss of the season, then I think you're absolutely right. Right now, it's 32 past, but man, we're only about halfway through the show. We got to get over to the defense. Well, we talked a little bit about the offense, the defense. We'll be talking a little bit more about both of them, I guess. But right now, I got to tell you guys, our amazing sponsor has been going through it. Absolutely going through it. I don't know if any of you have ever been hacked or had any issues like that in your life. It's devastating. It's horrible. It's terrible. It reroutes your life. It puts you through a ton of stress. But when you come out on the other side, you need a little bit of help and you need a little bit of love. And we're here to support Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and Estate Gold at wholesale prices. 34 years experience. They're right here in your backyard, northern Colorado, southern Wyoming, and now available on Etsy. I finally put together a little bit of a promo. Sit back, relax, watch this, and you'll be able to see just a little bit of what Morgan Trinkets has to offer. So that's Morgan Trinkets. They have a brand new Etsy page, Morgan Trinkets Co., like company, Morgan Trinkets Co., right over there on Etsy. They have all their stuff up there. They have a sale going on. You'll want to know about the sale going on. If you click over on Etsy, you'll be able to find out everything about that. Check out Morgan Trinkets. We've been happy with them, not only as a sponsor, but I know a few of us have taken home some of their wonderful treasures that they have. And I'll tell you what, after 34 years, tons of people out there doing the same, just absolutely loving what Morgan Trinkets does, especially around holiday time. Right, Albert?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And guess what? the shipping is very fast too, and it's very high quality. Michelle is enjoying the thing that I bought her very well, and yeah, it's amazing, and they're really good to work with.
Very good, buddy. Like I said, we talked a little bit on the offensive side. Let's flip over to a little bit more to the defense. I know we got a little bit off on Nick Benito and what he has been able to do. I was surprised, man. One of the things that was a little bit worrisome is when you lose your safety, and he's been a cornerstone and your leading tackler heading into this game, and all of a sudden, one Devon Key is out there taking his place. Talk about the defense, Devon Key, especially what he was able to do, taking the place of, like I said, our leading tackler in the safety position.
Yeah, the defense in general, they're excellent. You don't hear much about PS2 because he doesn't get targeted, and when he does get targeted, then most of the time he's a pain in the rear of opposing teams. So, and that's why he does not get all the hype and the stuff because he doesn't get targeted, and he is only the number 5 cornerback in the league. Guess what? He doesn't get targeted, so he doesn't get opportunities. Key is a player that is coming, and the more reps he gets, he will get better and better. And against the Ravens, he was not great. This game, he was much better. So yeah, Key needs the reps, and he will get them. So I'm looking forward to see more of him.
Yeah, Devon Key, I thought looked really good. You saw Jaquan McMillan. Sorry, I always get those two. Jaquan McMillan out there making fantastic plays once again. And then you talked about Pat Surtain, but Riley Moss, man, this is a guy. It amazes me what he's able to do opposite one of the absolute best in the whole NFL, and one Pat Surtain. Typically, when you see that, the other side just gets so targeted, and you got to be stand out. You got to be stand up in order to be able to go out there and make sure that you can protect that side and not just get obliterated. And once again, like I said, in a game where I thought there was so many targets and you could absolutely just get embarrassed out there with what they have in weaponry with the Atlanta Falcons. Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan, I did it again. No, I did it right that time. Jaquan McMillan just looked fantastic out there in this last game, along with the safety play. I was amazed what we were able to do, and even with the scheming that the Atlanta Falcons put up against this Denver Broncos team, because I think they really did try to go. I think they schemed very well. It was just the execution of the Denver Broncos team.
But let's not forget Barton, because Barton, I think he's taking over command in the center, and you can see he responds really well to changes in the offense, and he leads game. And yeah, Cody Barton deserves a lot of credit for this game as well.
Yeah, Scott's in here agreeing. Key did better than this week. Karen's in here dropping puns. We just need to keep winning. That's the key. And also just saying, so many young players showing out. You talked a little bit about, heck, we even saw having trouble with all my names, man.
McMillan.
Bailey. Oh, we saw Bailey. Lavon Bailey, right? Or no, anyway, getting them all mixed up. We saw Bailey out there late in the game. He was getting involved in there. Jonah Ellis, like you said, getting in there, getting his sack early. This defensive line, at one point, especially listening in, I was also listening in on radio, and I heard that Zach Allen went down. I had a gasp I was just holding my breath. I was like, oh no, not Zach Allen. But you look at this defensive front that's just been absolutely eating. I mean, it doesn't see the rotation is fantastic, Albert. You know, it doesn't matter if we're talking Jones or we're talking Roach or we're talking Allen. I mean, they just keep coming. You know, Wazirike getting in there, John Franklin Myers getting in there, Jackson gets in there from time to time. This defensive line, the rotation, the depth that they have, this has come out of nowhere. This was the place that we just absolutely got eaten alive last year, Albert. Now, when we start talking about this team, this defense carrying this team, and at times this defensive line being one of the biggest pieces, especially when you start putting those edge rushers out there on top of it.
Yeah, and in the beginning of the year, who would have written off DJ Jones? I was one of them, and
Mm,
and now with all the others in line, I think the chemistry that they have, they build each other up and they take each other to complete new levels, and we see that Roach, uh,
yeah.
the one with the three last names,
John
uh,
Franklin Myers.
John Franklin Myers, they all work together so well. And I think there is not a beat missed if one rotate out once in a while because one comes in and picks up with the other left. There you hardly see a difference anymore, and that is what the chemistry and unity does. And we see that starting to happen with our O line as well. Yeah,
Mm.
it's remarkable.
It is. It is. Like you said, I think that Barton stepped up very well in the linebacker with Alex Singleton going down. I thought that was going to be a huge loss, but Barton has done very well. Got an interception this game. Way to be in position. I mean, and just knowing what you're doing out there, those opportunities don't come to you if you're not comfortable in what you're doing out there. You have to be in position and know that you're in position in order to get those opportunities like that. Cody Barton's looking fantastic out there, leading things along. It's tough, like I said, in this game. It's going to be tough to nitpick and find issues and things wrong. And on defense, is no different than offense, Albert, because we're talking about a 6 points that we held this team to. You know, Nick Benito's out there looking good. Roach is out there, you know, eating it up as well. Zach Allen had a mediocre game, but, you know, a mediocre game for him is a fantastic game for just about anybody else, you know. PS2 out there looking good and flexing as he's knocking down passes. I mean, it was just all the way around a fantastic game from this defense. Um, you know, outside of a couple plays, which is going to happen from time to time. You know, it's going to happen, but never let this team get in a rhythm. Like I said, a total of four third down conversions in this game for the Atlanta Falcons. Just never let them get on track and get on pace. You team that up with what this offense did, Albert, and we become a pretty tough team to beat when all things are clicking. Karen's wondering, isn't Beatty due back to come? Isn't Beatty due to come back soon as well? And Tyler Beatty is due to come back. We're this is a great little segue because we just got done talking about the rotation that we saw on that defensive line. Well, let's talk just a second about that rotation that we saw in the running back or in the backfield as far as the running back is concerned, because we saw a little bit of everybody, including Marvin Mims. And right now, I'm not sure where the room is for Tyler Beatty. But let's talk about this game. Let's talk about Javonte, Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime, Marvin Mims. What'd you think about this offensive game plan when it came to running backs, buddy?
Do you think it might have something to do that we have a new assistant offensive coordinator?
Maybe.
Because here's the thing: we already know that our defense, you do not know what they are playing. The opposing offenses do not know what they are scheming. our offense is doing the same thing now. They line up a certain way, and they keep guessing. You saw several really nice plays. The some design plays, and it worked really well. The one touchdown to, I think it was Trotman.
Yeah.
That was so well
Adkins.
disguised. That was so well disguised, and I think that is it is getting more and more fun to see. And we see 22 setups. We see 21, two running backs in the backfield, running back and Mims.
Yeah.
This is what they should have started doing from the beginning. We asked for it, and it didn't happen. And now you see, I think they are really starting to play to the strengths of the team now, and it's getting. I think it's going to get more and more fun to watch them play.
I agree. We talked about this a little bit, buddy, about the steps that it would take to get this team to where they're at. We have a rookie quarterback. We heard about different phases of this offense and how they'd be bringing it in. I think we're starting to finally see it. Like you said, we've been calling for it to open up. I think that Sean Payton wanted to make sure that, especially his general on the field, was ready to start doing all the extras. Right? Got to have the basics down. Got to be good at them. Got to understand them. And if you can do that, then we can start layering and stacking. And now we're starting to see that. This running back quadruple that we saw this last weekend is fantastic as long as it's used the way that it was really being used this last weekend, right? Because my concern was the week before Javonte was on the field, that meant you were passing and he was pass blocking. And when Estime was on the field, that means you're running the ball. And when McLaughlin was on the field, that meant you were probably passing the ball to the wide receiver. I mean, it was just way, way, way too easy and scripted out in order to see. This week, Marvin Mims had carries. Estime's making catches. Everybody is capable of playing any role. And when you get to that point, because Sean Payton talked about it with the wide receivers as well, they got to be able to move into any position and play and be able to run any route. That if we can do that, then we'll always be able to keep them guessing. You just talked about it, Albert. We kept them guessing with what we had going on with the running backs in that backfield this last Sunday. And I think that was key because, again, we didn't utilize them in any particular fashion. They were a threat in any way possible. And if we keep that up, boy, yeah, we're looking at good things. We're looking at good things, Albert.
Oh yeah.
Karen's coming in. I just want to get through a few more comments, and boy, time's just clicking by, buddy. She's saying nobody is selfish and the focus, but they can be when you're apologizing to Cortland Sutton not getting a throw a few weeks back. He's class act. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be easy for these some of these players to, be out there writing books like one famous wide receiver once did, saying, "Throw me the damn ball." Hey, he goes out there, he blocks like everybody else. He's out there. He's a consistent teammate and always supporting his fellow teammates. You don't get that, and last time when we were on here, I think the biggest thing that I got from Trevor, Albert, Trevor was really big about talking about this, the culture change that we've seen with the Denver Broncos. As I float through these comments and I make sure that I get to Phil's here in just a moment, why don't you talk about what you've seen? Because let's face it, I think there was even some critiques of one Sean Payton coming into this year and how hot his seat might be. But right now, feels like he's got this team moving in all the right direction. I'd like to get your thoughts, bud.
Yeah, they have a winning culture indeed. And here's the thing: if one makes a mistake, a fumble or whatever, they're not yelling; they're lifting up. Next time better. And with Sean Payton, you might sit out a couple games or a couple plays or something like that. But it is a winning culture that we are creating. Everybody's lifting everybody up. I have not seen yelling at the sideline, not like last year or the year before. It is getting better and better, and it is very, very fun to see. And I think Bo Nix is the leading example in it. If he makes a mistake, he is the first one to say it was on me. If you see it on the field, oh, sorry
Mhm.
guys, that's me. And we haven't seen that. Otherwise, it was throwing everybody else under the bus, but that's no longer the case anymore. Everybody is stepping up, and it's lovely to see.
All right, buddy. Last few comments as we're getting rounded up here to get out of here. I'm gonna jump over to Phil. Loved. I keep. Me and you don't just hang out very much, and when it's just two of us, I tend to like look at the comments and make you answer all the hard questions. So get that swig back. Make sure that the voice is all loosened up for the last few minutes here. We're all good to go. Phil's thoughts are this: the more Bo Nix develops, the more play calling will open up. Do you think that the development that we've seen is just him developing himself? And with that, do you think is it the coach's decision? We're opening up this book and we're going to continue to see more and more and more. That is it Phil right on track here, buddy?
It is a combination of both of them. Bo Nix is getting more and more comfortable. You saw some of the plays. He kept the ball and it's out of his hands already immediately. We
Mm.
saw that with one of the last plays. He doesn't hold the ball. He keeps his eyes downfield all the time. And because of that, he is confident. He already has like an Aaron Rodgers feel, that experience, that feel you already have from him, the confidence. And I think that plays well to the coach as well. And you see, oh, he can do this. Let's do it more. Let's do it a little bit different. Let's build on it. I think that is what is happening. The more
Mm.
he, I think they are taking plays out that he is not comfortable with. Feel the things that are his strengths and use them to the benefit. And I think that is what is happening with the entire team. He gets more comfortable with wide receivers. They have connections now. You see throws that didn't get caught 2 weeks ago, but are now no longer 50-50 balls anymore. You saw it with the Sutton ball.
Mm.
Those balls were placed perfectly,
Yes.
and I think that is part of it too. Everybody's getting comfortable with each other. The chemistry is building. Open the playbook, and it gets even more fun.
I like this one that just came in from Dan. He says, "I actually think that Sean Payton couldn't wait anymore in order to open up this offense. He has been waiting, Albert. Honestly, there was a lot of press and talk, and I'm not going to rewind into this right now, but of what last year was and how the playbook couldn't be ascertained by the quarterback and truly ran to what Sean Payton wanted. And I think there's a little bit of truth in what we're kind of seeing from what Dan's saying here. This team, this coach has been waiting and wanting to have a quarterback that can do what Bo Nix is doing, and he couldn't wait anymore. He's like, I got all these fantastic plays, and I'm done with the basics. We got to unleash this on the NFL, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of that. I think it was an absolute. Dan, I think I might be right there with you. I think that might be something that Sean. It's not like what we saw for the first 8 weeks or so was all Sean is capable of drawing up. And a lot of people are like, geez, open it up. Open it up. This is what we're paying for. This is the Sean Payton, the offensive guru. Well, it was there. It's just a matter of whether you're going to give it to him, whether you're going to give it to Bo Nix and say, okay, here we go. Let's run with it, man. And yeah, I think that you're absolutely right, Dan. I love that. That's a great take. One that I'm willing to almost leave on. But that being said, Albert, we've had an amazing amazing show this evening, man. I've had such a hard time keeping up with the comments. I even see more friends that are joining in, not being part of the posse per se, just watching, hanging in the background, knowing what we're doing here, and hopefully loving it as well. We love all the likes, the shares, subscribes, and all the viewers that were joining. As Albert gets ready for his closing thoughts, I did this again on Sunday. I want to get a kind of a thought of what you would like, what you as the posse, if you were to win something, what it would rather be. I have two choices for you. A signed jersey from a current player, or B, a signed mini helmet from a current player. I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments. Go ahead, drop them in there. And then Albert's going to go in and get in here, and he's going to help us get out of here the way he always does, showing a lot of love, I'm sure. Albert?
Yeah, unfortunately, I will not be there on Friday, so I'm going to give my prediction here.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, man. Raiders week.
It's going to be 33-14 for the Broncos in the Raider Nation. It is time that we to shake those losing games off in Las Vegas. It is time for us to get Max Crosby on his rear end, and I think it's going to happen. But yeah, it is time for the Broncos to be the team and be the real contender and show them really what we have, and have another loss for the Raiders. But we are all winners here. Whenever we watch the Denver Bronco Roundup, we are winners because it is a really great community that we have. The posse is, second to none, I would say. They're excellent. And as always, you make our lives so much easier. And I want to thank Scott, Michael, Phil, Roy, my lovely wife Michelle, Jeremy, Pearl, Douglas, Dan, Graham, Kenny, Karen, Rodney, Patrick, Trevor, Paul, Becky, Bronco. Yeah, even although he came in late. It is so nice to see you all, guys. Keep it up, and we will have way more fun when we do it over and over again, because we will start to know you a little bit.
Absolutely. That being said, not just thank you to all you guys. The gals have been coming in stronger and stronger with Michelle and Pearl and Karen. No, thank you to everyone that comes in here, have supported our show. I don't say it enough. Sometimes you're all in here reminding me, but please like, share, subscribe. We appreciate everything you've done to make this grow and allow us to come in here every Tuesday and every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, talking about some Denver Broncos. We do our wrap-up show right here on Tuesday. On Friday, we'll be talking all about the Raiders. Go Raiders week. I think Albert is right. I think we got a great opportunity to go in there to Las Vegas, steal a win. We'll be back there talking about that. And then don't forget, Sunday, right after the game, we'll go live, get your post-game reaction. That's always a fantastic, fun show. Man, Albert, we've got the best. The posse, as Trevor's jumped in here late saying, best posse out there. We do this for you guys. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Be safe. And as always, go Broncos. One of the horsemen chiming in and saying it well. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy your Wednesday. Enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy your Friday. And make sure that you're really enjoying it when you come join us Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Don't forget, check out Morgan Trinkets over on Etsy. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. Morgan Trinkets Co. over on Etsy for all your Southwest jewelry, Southwest pottery, and estate gold at wholesale prices. We're going to get out of here the way we always do. Make sure you keep those boots right there in the stirrups, your guns and your holsters, and the Denver Broncos in your heart. Let's go, guys. Let's get out of here. Have a great Raiders week. We'll see you on Friday. Good night, everyone. Oh, wait. And thank you, Michael Ronquillo, for final stars. I just got to say that really quick. Have a fantastic evening to you, Michael. Appreciate you. And we're going to get out of here. See you guys all on Friday. Thanks, everyone.